Hello, so I did my presentation on Austria. Um, so Austria borders Germany and Switzerland and Slovakia and the Czech Republic and Hungary. It is basically just completely landlocked in Central Europe. Its population is 8.7 million, and Austria is a very peaceful country. It does not want to be roped into conflict because, as you can imagine, being completely surrounded by different European countries, they need to keep things at a peaceful state. And after World War II, they decided not to be part of the NATO agreement after the conflict with Germany under the Nazi reign. Austria's flag. So a little bit of background about Austria's flag. There's been several different variations of the flag. As you can see, we have two different variations here. Austria has, although one of the most oldest flags dating back to 1191 when Duke Leopold V fought in the Battle of the Ark during the Third Crusade. So very, very rich history here. The red in the flag stands for bravery and strength, and the white stands for peace and honesty, going back to their peaceful state. As I said, there's different variations, and the one on the top actually has the central bird is their coat of arms, and in between the two claws is usually a chain, and the chain is cut after World War II when they were free from the Nazi reign. And that's something that they really hold dear and is a really important part of their history of being free from the Nazis. Language and religion. So the main language is German, although they speak what is called Austrian German, which is a form of German that is with Bavarian. So some words mean the same as it means in German, but others are completely different, and there's a little bit different variations between different parts of Austria. And as you can see in the picture, there's East Central Bavarian, South Central Bavarian, so it's there's a little bit different renditions, but it's never written, they write in German, but not in Austrian German. And their main form of religion is Roman Catholic. And then recently, right under Roman Catholic, is the Eastern Orthodox, which is a new recent occurrence, and that's due to the migration of Muslims. Political. So Austria is a federal parliamentary republic. So they have their executive, legislative, and judicial branches. In their executive branch, there's a president serving as the head of state, and then the chancellor serving as the head of government. And they work very much coincide. For the legislative branch, there is the Parliament of Austria, and it consists of two chambers. And then for the judicial branch, it has two courts, general courts, and the courts of public law. There's 5 political parties, and that's the Austrian People's Party, the Social Democrat Party of Austria, the Freedom Party of Austria, the NEOS, and the Greens. And right now, the chancellor and the head of state is in the Greens Party, which is the first ever, and that was after a scandal with the past chancellor with some issues with the Russians and the Russians infiltrating their news and him paying a part of that. So a little bit of drama in the politics there. Economy. So their GDP is 446.3 billion USD. So they are pretty high, especially for being such a small country. Their main currency is the euro. Their GDP per capita is 50,654 USD, and their GDP growth rate is 1.6. Now that's pretty lower because of COVID, and their unemployment rate is also higher because of COVID at 4.67%. The trade with other countries with other European accounts for almost 60 cents per 6% of Austrian imports and exports, expanding. So basically, their trade is a major element of their Austrian economy, and a lot of countries trade with Austria. And I'm going to go into what those main items of trade are in a minute here. Global business opportunities. So Austria has a really good source of petroleum and natural gas. The generation of hydroelectric power is constantly being expanded, which makes Austria the leader of the field of the hydroelectric power in the European Union. The Republic of Austria has shipped over 179 billion worth of goods around the globe in 2019, and Austria's top 3 exports are machinery, including computers, electronic machinery, equipment, and vehicles. So you can notice there wasn't oil in those top 3 exports, and that's because that's one of their new up-and-coming export is oil, and so that's going to be a field that I think is going to start booming in funds for Austria. Culture. So they have a just great significance of social cohesion and tolerance as the highest significance of Austrian society. So they want to be able to work really well with each other, but they are divided into 9 what they call, I'm going to maybe butcher this name, Bundesländer, and depending on the country that it borders, kind of creates a different culture, which plays a lot into the food in Austria. And so they kind of have a mix of all different types, because you have, Switzerland and Italy, and so their food is really interesting because they kind of combined all the countries around them. And then right now there's a really strong green movement and giving more incentives to being environmentally conscientious. They have a really strong Catholic heritage that plays a large role into their morals, and that goes way, way back. And then the people overall are very quiet and very reserved. They have curfew at 10:30, and everyone is completely quiet, like the town, so towns just go dead. So it's a very quiet, peaceful country. Austria is still in level 3 at high risk of non-essential travel. So they still need to start making improvements on that. And just like everybody, they are hurting because of COVID. They have had 65,927 total cases. And Austria is introducing support measures for the sectors of heavily affected areas of the outbreak, and particularly which one of those are like hotels, a lot of anything that has travel corresponding to that, because obviously people are not being able to come in, and so those sectors are being really hurt. Rating. So the pros, they have this oil revenue that's coming up and coming. They're conscious of the environment, and it's a very peaceful country. Cons, the unemployment rate is really rising due to COVID. Their political system is slowly making a comeback after that scandal. So I would give it a B+. It's definitely turning things around, but then they also have the difficulties of COVID right now. So I think they are going to be they're in the upper middle. And thank you for listening. Bye.